as we scout goes off in the background, welcome back to Developing Hurricanes, where after a great episode with Spiros and Astus, we're going back to the bottle, both literally and figuratively, where we've took maybe a 2-3 episode off drinking for no reason whatsoever, and now we're back to it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I have to talk about the deadline, which is one of my least favorite things to talk about from a guy who really only talks about prospects. But also, it's been just a whirlwind of a day. I have had a lot, and I think it'd be fun if I had one singular alcoholic beverage. While doing this, obviously, here with my co-host in Matt Soma. How are we, Matt?
I am alive.
Wow, man. You're really just coming with the hits today, huh?
Listen, sometimes you just gotta play the hits.
They're not good ones.
You know, I mean, hey, Imagine Dragons, not a good band. They have songs that played on the
Bro,
radio.
hold on. My best friend, his name is Colin. His number one artist, I think, for the past 2 years has been Imagine Dragons, or it has at least been in his Spotify top 5.
Why are you friends with this person?
I've known him forever, and there's also a lot of other reasons why I'm good friends with him. So I'm trying to be careful.
I understand. That's just a joke about his music. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. I understand. Hey, I joke about it all the time too. I despise Imagine Dragons. I think it's funny to just do it like that.
No. Just
it's all right.
Starting right off with the slander. This episode.
Dude, I would say we're haters, but today I personally, I'm gonna love talking about all the guys I don't want to leave because I love them too much because I cover them all the time. I don't want to see these guys get traded. Obviously, some of them will because that's just the nature of the hockey business. But on a level of like guys like who we're going to talk about more than likely, it's just I've gotten to know them. I've talked with them a couple times. I've seen them and watched them since they were playing junior hockey or overseas. And it's like, dang, that's really going to hurt when I can't really cover the guy anymore. So it's different for somebody like Alexander Nikishin, who I got the great chance to cover for a long time. And then now it's different because he's still playing for the hockey team. It's still fine. I can still watch him play for the hockey team that I can choose to root for, but like with other guys, it's like, oh, no, I'll be happy if he does something, but like I'm not going to actively root for his team. So I just hate it. It sucks.
No, I get that. I mean, I think I was what was it? The 2020 trade deadline was a devastating day for that prospects account.
Was that that was Yanni Kuokkanen.
Gauthier, Lusterinen.
Oh, what a career. Well, to be fair, Kuokkanen, no. Gauthier, no. Lusterinen, yeah. He's had a pretty solid career.
Well, like, I mean, you got to think, like, it was most of that 2019... Oh, it was a good portion of that 2019 Calder Cup team.
Yeah.
Got traded at the 2020 deadline. Like, a lot of the top guys. So I get it. You know, it's not always fun. Like, you know, the Canes... It's kind of one of those weird things because, like, at the deadline, you don't see a ton of prospects move anymore. At least not like major ones.
It's a summer thing mainly.
Yeah, because like this is the time of year where a lot of teams have just had their scouting meetings, so they really want to acquire a lot of the picks.
Yeah,
just to build out their lists, and picks are a lot more valuable because you control who you draft. And you know, I've heard it somewhere that says, like, you know, as soon as a player's drafted, their trade value tanks, just because there's so much. Now it's like, okay, there's not a huge chance they make it to the NHL anymore, but like NHL teams love having the picks because then they can get their guy.
Yeah, that's completely
Obviously,
fair.
the player their value can go up, like, you know, with like a Bradley Nadeau type.
I would confidently say that, yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's just kind of an interesting is like a lot of teams just prefer draft picks.
Or if you look at somebody like Legault as well, because I would assume he would have much more value than a fifth right now. Maybe not.
Yeah, I would say like...
I think that's an interesting debate. But I also think a team would see 22, 23-year-old right-handed defenseman who has had solid outings in the NHL already, and you're like, huh.
If Legault was 30 years old and available at this trade deadline, he would at least fetch like a third.
I'd go first. You're telling me like a physical guy like him?
Maybe like
Come
a
on,
second, maybe like a third that can turn into a second.
a second and a low end prospect, a second
Yeah,
in
that
Nils
one.
Juntorp.
Second and Nils might as well just be the second, buddy.
Hey, I didn't say that. Don't disrespect the guy who is currently sixth in prospect scoring. Come on, don't do that. But yeah, first up, before we get to the deadline, because that's probably going to be the bulk of this episode. 21, by the way, can now legally drink, which also didn't even realize that at the beginning. That's kind of funny. Um, One of the themes of this season has been injuries. My God, there's like 30 of them, and it's very not fun to manage and try and keep track of whenever they happen in Russia, and you don't get a lot of information about anything. Like even college and the AHL, you still barely get information about stuff, and it's very tough. But luckily, we got two back recently, two Canes prospects back, and coincidentally, they're also two of the highest ranked defensemen that we have in the prospect pipeline. Let's do the fellow not a lot of people know about first, and man, I like this kid a lot. I think you also like this kid a lot. That also sounds horrible. Let me just make that abundantly clear. I gotta find a different word.
Yeah, we
I
like
love
this
this
player a lot.
prospect a lot. Player
Yes.
also probably works. Um, but he has finally returned from injury. I believe he was out from November to February, so a 4-month injury. Um, Comes back and immediately steps into a role where he was already at and has looked really solid in that role. We're talking about Alexander Suryatsky, who, besides getting a lot of love and appreciation from both myself and Matt and rankings and other things like that, but even Walt and Peter gave him a shout out in their recent prospect roundup, which I also thought was really nice because he's a kid that definitely deserves a good, not a good amount of attention. He deserves a longer look because there's a lot to like about what he has trait wise right now as a 19-year-old, and it's really rare to see 19-year-olds getting. I mean, his most recent game, he got almost 19 minutes of ice time, and he played in all situations. So it's really good to see a guy that young have a lot of trust in the coaching from the coaching staff, and now he's getting this opportunity, and he seems to be doing really well in it.
Yeah, he is, and I think with Siriatsky, like when we saw him at camp this past year, we really liked the some of the tools that he showcased. Like obviously, there's the size. He's a lot bigger than he was when he was drafted, which was one of the kind of reasons I think he fell. Is he was pretty lanky. Um, the skating's really solid. You can see he makes a lot of really smart plays defensively. Like he's not overly flashy, but there is more offense to his game than I think he kind of showcased at the MHL and VHL levels. And now you see he's a guy that's getting like pretty regular KHL minutes at 19 years old. Like that's pretty good for a guy that was drafted in the fourth round.
Oh, that was okay.
That's it. Yeah,
uh,
I felt like that was a good end.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it. I can confidently say. I think I said it. He was my biggest riser in the ranks. I think it was him and Legault that rose the most, and we'll talk about Legault in a second. But Suryatsky kind of jumped out at me a lot this year, just because he had been playing just regular KHL minutes as a super young guy, and that just does not happen a lot of the time,
Yeah.
especially for defensemen who have to be defensively responsible. You can't just be a full offensive guy in the KHL and expect to get playing time. That doesn't work. So for him to step into that role and look as solid as he has and to earn the coach's trust is a big step for the kid. And I'm really interested to see where the rest of the season goes because Mettler is going to have probably a deeper playoff run. And I'm interested to see if they continue that level of trust going into the playoffs or they kind of scale them back. So
Yeah.
interested in that.
Real
Obviously,
quick, just
sorry.
back on Syria because I think you were about to transition,
Yes.
so I didn't want to. I wanted to get this last thing with him. You don't know how the transition is going to go from like the VHL to the KHL, especially as a defenseman. Like for forwards, like there's a little bit more grace because there's a lot more ice time to go around for forwards. As a defenseman, the fact that he's been able to earn his coach's trust throughout the year is really big. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and I mean, I think his contract's up at the end of the year. I would
Doubt it.
hope
Even if it
that
is up at the end of the year, I doubt it.
he stays in the KHL for another year or two just to get more seasoning at that level. I think there's been a lot of really good signs, but the fact that he won't play a full year this year just due to that huge injury, um, it still shows for me this is a player that's really mature, and if he's comfortable making the jump from the VHL to the KHL, there's a lot of hope that the jump from the KHL to one day hopefully the NHL is not going to be that high.
Yeah, so I was listening. I promise. I was double checking something. Yes, Suryatsky's contract does expire. I don't think he makes any sort of move over.
I don't
I
either,
mean,
but
realistically, he can probably get a bigger role on the Metallurg line, and I think I'd love to just see him get another KHL year. I was just double checking myself because it's probably worthwhile, especially at this point in the season. Maybe I'll drop a tidbit. Maybe I'll drop a tidbit or two because, it is getting to that time of the season. I think last year about this time was about when we heard or we started hearing about the rumors of Joel Nystrom. And obviously Nikishin was kind of not a rumor, but it was kind of known that it was going to happen about December. And then Badinka was kind of just a random one in March or April, something like that, where it just kind of
Badinka had signed after Dev Camp.
Yeah, it was just people didn't know when he was going to come over, and then
Okay.
I scrounge the SHL papers. Not doing that again this year, thank God, because I don't understand Swedish. I don't understand a lick of it. I did like 2 weeks of it on Duolingo in middle school. Can't remember a single word of it now. And I saw whenever Malmo was eliminated, somebody like one of the SHL insiders had released something and said Badinka is expected to go to North America, and I was like, oh, I should probably mention something about that. Could be worth it. And we're getting close to that time, so maybe I'll sprinkle in something. But obviously, Suryatsky, cool player. He was my 7th ranked guy. Do you remember where he was ranked for you by chance?
I want to say he was 8 or 9.
Okay. I think it might be worthwhile for people that listen, and I'm going to start trying to include it in my writing and some of the posts of kind of mentioning where these guys are ranked in our eyes, or at least mine, because I'm not trying to be rude, but technically I am Mr. Kane's prospects.
He was 10 for me.
Okay. Just because I think it might be worthwhile.
I put Badinka and Radkin ahead of him.
Okay. I just think it might be worthwhile because I also feel as if it's helpful for people to know kind of where these guys are ranked, at least in my eyes. And again, we're probably very wrong from where the actual scouts view them, but I feel as if it could be helpful to people. So yeah. I'm going to try and start mentioning that. So in that case, if we go to both of our second-ranked guys and our first-ranked, top-ranked defenseman, who suffered probably one of the nastiest and gnarliest injuries I have seen in a hot minute, in a game against Toronto where he's trying to punch down and just ends up slicing his skate open crazy, or his hand open. Charles Alexis Legault recently made his return for the Chicago Wolves, and crazily enough, he immediately makes an impact on the penalty kill. And then also 5-on-5, the opening goal of his first game back, he's sees that there's an opportunity for an odd man rush, jumps the zone when his team has possession, and my God, he's in the neutral zone on a 2-on-1 with Victor Neuchev, and Legault waits, passes it across, makes the play happen. A great play. And again, that's the stuff that you like to see from Legault playing in the AHL, is just seeing the development of a lot of the other parts of his game besides the defense that we already know is pretty solid. The offensive game, transition work, all that stuff, if he continues to improve that in the AHL, again, you're probably looking at a long-term NHL guy, and I'm really happy to see him back.
Yeah, me too. And I think, this is the right spot for him for now. Carolina's healthy. It does him no good to sit in the press box every night. Get the playing time while you can. I mean, Carolina's defense is pretty good. But if there's one thing certain about the NHL is that there's potentially going to be injuries. So.
Every time I look at my hand, I can think about it. It's terrifying. Oh, I was just talking about Legault's injury. I can't get that video out of my head of him just punching down, and then you just see blood, and I'm like, oh god.
It was. I hope he has learned a lesson from that.
Well, hold on. Just don't punch at the skate. Look for like human flesh, a face of some kind, not the shiny skate. Feels if that'd
Yeah,
be good.
I
Yeah,
mean, if I were Charles Alexis Legault, I would not have punched a skate. Yes,
we're good at this, man.
yes, we're elite.
Yeah. And moving on, he was both our second ranked guy. I'm not dumb about that. Next up, a guy that I think I had fifth, fourth, sixth, something like that in that range. Who I'm very happy to see practicing after he got shut down for the regular season, but we're finally getting to see a little bit of him now. Now with college hockey slowly progressing toward the end of their regular season, moving closer to the Big Ten tournament, and finally getting to get a chance to see some guys coming back. Charlie Serrato, who hasn't played in a good amount of time now. I don't remember the exact amount just because I'm a horrible guy who had no time to really prep for this, so I didn't get a chance to look at it. But he has been out for a while with a lower body injury,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been tough because I really want to watch Penn State, a team that is now getting really, really solid. They figured out the goaltending situation. Their defense has been really good. The forward group, I mean, there is that one guy who, he's good or whatever, but Serrato is definitely a big missing piece for that team who could definitely use somebody like him. And with him practicing now, I think it might be a nice little sign that I don't know about the Big Ten tournament, but maybe in the NCAA tournament when Penn State finds out where they're going, I think there's a chance, I don't want to put certainties on it or anything, that I think you'll see Serrato play a little bit more in college hockey before his season's over.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on his health. Like, Penn State's been kind of a weird team this year where I think they've underperformed in a lot of ways. But as of late, they've been a lot better. And I think there's a chance, that this team could make a decent run in the college hockey playoffs. So if he's not 100%, I could still see him playing because this may be his last year in college hockey. He's played well enough. He's old enough to where he could probably start the pros next year. So with that being the case, does he want to have, that last hurrah in college hockey? But we don't know the injury. We really don't. So, like, if it could jeopardize his long-term health, there's always a chance. The fact that he's practicing now is solid.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, like the Frozen Four is like pretty early in April every year.
Yeah, beats me, man.
Usually college hockey ends like right before the NHL playoffs do, but I could be making that up.
This is the second to last weekend of college hockey. I think we
Yeah,
have this
so
weekend and then one more and then playoffs.
yeah, so like the season's winding down. So like the fact that he's practicing right now with the timeline of potentially being ready for playoffs, that's not super surprising. Like there's a week left after this weekend. So I think him coming back would be huge.
Yeah, for a Penn State team that could, I mean, maybe not could use another center, but definitely they're missing the firepower that Serrato brings. I subscribe to the Mitchell Brown and Lassie Allinen tracking data for prospects. I've used it a lot. I think the past 2 years for the draft. I think it's a really helpful tool. Kind of give myself a better idea because I can't watch tape, and I watch as much tape as I can. It is very hard to watch tape on these guys that could be Canes prospects, could not be Canes prospects. So I use them. I use a lot of different tools when it comes to draft stuff. So I find them incredibly valuable to give me a better understanding of what the guy brings to the table right now. And they did one of the Serrato series, like one of the Penn State series, and he was consistently like Penn State's second or for like always in their top 3 forwards for anything, defense, offense, transition, chances, all of it. He was normally in their top 3 forwards. So I think Penn State misses him, and I think getting him back for a run would be really well. And somebody also asked me today, like, what do you think the chances of him signing it are? I'm like, 65-35 is what I would say right now. Like,
Yeah,
I
I think
wouldn't be
that's fair.
shocked. I think there's not a lot more, but I think there's a little bit more leaning yes, just because this is his second year of college hockey. He has played well at college hockey when he's been healthy, and if Penn State makes a deep run, he's 20. I think there's a good chance that he could go pro. I think it's not unlikely, but I also don't know. I think the injury put a damper on a little bit of that, just because he has been missing time, and you're like, oh, don't really know what's going to happen there, but yeah, that'd be good. Next up,
Yeah, I
ooh, never
agree.
mind. Okay, that you just wanted to say.
I just wanted to voice my consent or not
Hey,
consent.
consent's a great thing nowadays, or
Uh,
overall. Maybe not nowadays. That's just overall.
what's the word? Damn it, I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, we're going. Um, Next up, we're gonna slowly transition into some of the injured guys, but one of them, I had two guys that I probably should have asked about before we did this, and I had all day to do it today, and it blanked my mind, which really sucks. And it happens, but one of the things that I noticed about a few days ago was Semyon Frolov on Elite Prospects had that little plus symbol next to his name, meaning that he was hurt. It has been removed. And I don't know, I haven't seen anything from any of the MHL Spartak teams because there's two of them. I haven't seen anything from them about him practicing. He hasn't been the backup in any of the games. I haven't seen anything. I don't know what Elite Prospects knows comparatively to me. But if I could see Semyon Frolov come back a little bit, that would be really good because, again, he was spectacular in the starts that he had before his injury. And the injury has kind of derailed a lot of his season because he's only played in 7 games. So if he gets another opportunity to play a little bit more and help, I believe Spartak will go into the playoffs this year. I'd have to, the MHL playoffs start really soon. I should probably look into it to see who's playing, who's not. But um, Frolov is definitely going to be a guy for Spartak that could definitely be a backstop for him. So I hope that he is healthy and he comes back soon because that'd be a really big boost to them and also would be good for him to just get some more game time in.
Please, I want a good goalie to talk about.
Hey, man.
I know there's more, but like Frolov is one of the more exciting prospects in the system, and like he had a really good start to the year, and I was really excited to follow that. And it just sucks it got derailed. Hopefully, this means he's healthy because Frolov could be electric.
Yeah. I think a lot of people gave him the maybe not goalie of the future, but like the one they're highest on. I know we were both very high on him
Yeah.
overall. Easily our highest ranked goalies. Probably the highest ranked Canes goalie since Kochetkov,
I
realistically.
would agree. Yeah. I mean, granted, like the highest pick they've made since Kochetkov was Patrick
Patrick
Hammerla.
Hammerla? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, third
Well,
round pick, and that obviously didn't really work out. So
yeah, I mean, it happens. But yeah, Frolov would definitely him coming back would be a really big boost. But that's also disrespecting Mr. February Igor Velmakin, who this will come out before I do a top five for the month. But Igor Velmakin's going to be in that top five as long as he doesn't have a really, really bad game from now until March 1st, because he has been unbelievably good in the month of February. So, but yeah, Frolov, I would love him to come back because I miss him. And just give me another goalie to watch, more prospects to watch, prospects to follow, please. It gets really tough when all I'm really talking about on the prospect account is Ivan, Bradley, Limitov, Cole, just the regular guys.
Felix,
So yeah, Felix, I forgot him. I never forget about my boy. And then two guys who one of them I was supposed to ask about, the other one I don't really know how to get information on. But Roman Bausov, after becoming healthy, coming back, 6 points in 18 games, playing a lot of minutes, looking really good, showing a lot of good stuff. The physicality was popping off. The defense was good. Everything was looking nice. He hasn't played since February 3rd. And I hate it because, again, that was a really interesting guy. And if he goes from had a really long term injury into having another injury after coming back and looking really good, that just sucks.
yeah, especially because like he's pretty raw as a prospect. Like a lot of the tools are there, but a long way away. He needed a full season, and the fact that he's only played, I think, less than 20 games right now is tough.
18 total for Bausov.
That's tough.
I hate it, man. I want the kids to stay healthy, and unfortunately, Bausov just hasn't had that this year. And it's really, again, it sucks just because in those 18 games there was a lot to like, and now it's just we don't know.
Yeah.
And then the other player who I feel as if much more people are going to be more upset about who listen to this regularly. First up, thank you. But Justin Poirier has not played since February 6th. And realistically, that's not a ton of time in college hockey terms. That's what, 1, 2, 3 weekends, but that's also 6 games. And that's rare because Poirier was I want to say he was the top point producer on that Maine team, or still is. And he has been really solid for Maine. He's been one of the better freshmen in college hockey, and he just got hurt. I haven't heard anything about it. Maybe I'm just missing something, but that's another guy who was having a really good season who is now just gone in the wind, I guess, hurt of some kind. Just don't know. And it sucks. Just gonna shake your head and shed a tear.
Shed one tear.
Wow, man. Really like the dead silence. Just got power through it all.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right, let's get to the trade deadline stuff, which is what people are probably going to be more interested in anyways. Again, not my favorite thing to talk about because these are guys I watch all
can
year.
talk about it.
Yeah, buddy, I know you can talk about it. All right? I've seen it. I've read.
Thank you.
I also had something about it recently just to talk about it and be like, hey, yeah, this is probably, But yeah, it is we're a week away. Less than a week away by the time this goes up because we're recording on Wednesday. It will go up by Saturday, so less than a week away from the deadline. Canes are probably going to do something. I work at a radio station where we just interviewed Mike Maniscalco. It was kind of cool. I was asked my opinion on people. It was really fun.
That's neat.
And so he was like, yeah, no, Canes always like to make a move. It's probably, it's hard to make a big move, but they're probably going to make a move depending on what it is. And this is the part where I hate because if you make a move, there's the chance that, one of the guys get moved. And if we're talking about guys just based on pure asset wise for players, do you have like a top 3, a couple guys that you just know have the most value comparatively to some others?
I mean, it's Bradley Nadeau and Charles Alexis Legault. Those are the top 2, probably.
Yeah. I think Nadeau has a plateau.
You could have a fairly healthy debate about who number 3 is. I don't think Yoel Nystrom is one of those players because I think the Canes made a commitment to him.
Also, age-wise, if you're talking straight prospect, he's 23. But again, he's a young defenseman, so I think
but the value is he's got a 4-year contract.
Also, very well.
I think other than that, probably Charlie Serrato. Honestly, I don't. Because Felix is having an unbelievable season, but I don't know if teams are going to value the 5'11" winger.
I feel as if that's something that we probably should talk about and elaborate on because that's a big thing. Everybody's going to look at Felix. It's just one of those things. They're like, man, this kid's tearing up the AHL after having a bad year. He's coming back and having a great year. He looks really good in the AHL. He's handling everything a lot better. And we're going to look you dead in the face and we're going to say he probably doesn't have that much value because teams value different things differently. And a team, let's go like if the Canes could do Pedersen and we're like, okay, Felix, we're not giving up Nadeau. We're going to give up Felix. They're going to look at Felix and go, great, they're going to go a 5'11" winger who's undersized weight-wise and, still has some struggles with some other things. And they're going to go, well, I'd much rather have, the 20-year-old who's scoring 30-plus goals in back-to-back years in the AHL. And it's tough. And, for me, I'm like, well, Felix is great. I personally think he should have a good amount of value because I think any team should look at any 20-year-old that is having a season like Felix. You're going to get a good look at him because 40 points from a 20-year-old in the AHL is great. It doesn't happen that often, at least in some cases. I think nowadays it's a lot more normalized just because a lot of youngsters are getting into the AHL more often, but it's still rare. And
Yeah.
again, it's the 5'11 pass first mentality, undersized physically, and they're going to just go, probably not. So it sucks, but I'm great about it because I get to keep Felix. But
Right.
at
You
that same
you
point,
also look at like it's tough because I do think there's a case to be made of teams valuing AHL scoring because it doesn't really happen. I mean, I'm going to look at players from 18 to 21 currently in the AHL right now.
I can tell you who's leading scoring.
Is Connor Geeky.
Oh, not really? I thought he would
Connor
be with
Geeky
Tampa
has
full time.
49 points in 45 games.
I really thought he would have been full time NHL by now.
Next is Jagger Firkus with 48 and 50. Then is Bradley Nadeau, who has the highest point percentage of the three.
Yeah, that's what
But
I was
else,
thinking.
and has 6 less games played than Geeky and 11 less than Firkus. So, like, points percentage wise, yes, Bradley is first.
Yeah.
Very next is Felix.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. I mean, it is really impressive. Like, what Felix Ungersorum is doing at this level cannot be understated. Like, this is important. But it's tough because 5'11 winger, I just don't see a team taking a swing on that right now.
Yeah. And again, it should be mentioned that we both, I personally love Felix as a player. We both see similarities to Teuvo Teravainen within the player.
If Carolina keeps Felix, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, because we can both see. I mean, I'm not going to say top 6, but top 9 winger who will contribute. Okay, what was that for?
If Felix hits,
Top 6. If he hits full
we
potential, yeah,
could be like, I'm like, Teuvo Teravainen would be great. I think Teuvo Teravainen's defensive game would be better.
yeah.
If Felix hits, I see more dynamic talent than Teuvo. I see. No, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to steal this comp from somebody.
Hmm.
I can't steal that comp. No.
Oh, what are we,
I think
morale? What do we have,
well,
morals? What?
I think that we could be looking at like a 40 or 50 assist a year player.
Yeah, like I tweeted out and then I deleted it because I didn't really like the way it was worded, and I also thought it was probably not in the best taste. But I was watching some Felix tape from earlier in the year of a game against Manitoba where he gets the puck on the right wing, can withstand pressure for a good 2-3 seconds, and then sends a cross ice pass directly onto Evan Vierling, who just has the easiest tap in of his life. And that's through 3 different Manitoba defenders. The way that Felix is able to control pace with the puck on his stick, the pace of play when Felix has it and he's at the top of what his game is right now, he's able to make what he wants happen because he just has that ability. Watching him on the power play is something to behold because he gets the puck and it's quick. It's snappy at times. It's like 1-2s to open up space. It's
He can pick
holding
apart a
on.
defense
It's
so
insanely
well.
good. The skating has gotten better. He's gotten much, much better in terms of handling physicality. It's just a lot of the good stuff. And I know
He's stronger
we
for sure.
we say all of that, and we're like, yeah, he doesn't have a ton of value. But it unfortunately, it's the nature of the
I think
NHL.
for the right team and the right deal, 100% he's got value.
Yeah, I love the player. I cannot state how much I love the player. Like
Yeah.
he's up there. He's a dude. He's one of the coolest passers I've watched. He's also just a chill guy as well. They were making fun of him in interviews whenever I was doing. I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point. I think it was 2 years ago. I
Didn't they
had to
also
work.
make fun, was it Lego?
Yeah,
Weren't they also making fun of him?
the Swedes and the Finns. I think it was Heimo Salmi, Gunler, and Felix were all kind of laughing at Legault's answers, and then I think Gunler and Heimo were laughing at a lot of Felix's answers as well. So he's a funny dude. Um, so like he's a great personality to be around as well. There's just a lot to like about the player, and
Yeah.
that's somebody that I think should have a lot of value, but I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. I think also when you're talking about top assets, it's kind of Nadeau, like player wise, it's Nadeau and then kind of a sizable gap, and then Legault. I also
Yeah.
think Limitov would have a good amount of value right now. Not good amount, but a decent amount of value right now, just because of traits
He would be more
and
than just
production.
like the throwaway contract in a trade.
No, he
Yes.
would definitely have value. Like if we're thinking in like NHL terms, he doesn't have like the lowest value. He's got like top 6 high potential, maybe top 4 low. And he could probably get you a third round pick in the game or a fourth round pick in the game. That's kind of what I was leaning toward. But also when you look at all the other Canes prospect defensemen and you go Legault and then like Limitov and Cole and Nystrom, and you're like, well, Limitov's probably 2 there, is what I would say.
Yeah.
But I really don't like. Again, I'm a prospect guy, so I don't want any of these guys moved. But I think
Nadeau has the potential to be the centerpiece of a deal. Legault, Unger Sorum, maybe Limitov have the potential to be
I would say like B or C tier prospects in a deal.
the piece that gets the deal over the line.
Yeah. Like whenever these insiders tweet about like, oh, they want this and a B tier prospect or a C tier prospect, that's kind of what Unger Sorum, Limitov, and Legault are in. I'd say like B tier range. Because Bradley Nadeau is blue chip as blue chip can get. I think that needs to be. I think he's blue chip as blue chip can get. I saw the slight high roll there, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I define that. Like, in my opinion, you're only moving Nadeau for like a
like a Robert
premium,
Thomas, like a Elias
like
Pettersson.
a Robert Thomas. I wrote about it. It's not going to happen, but I would love for Nico Hischier to happen.
Oh.
Like, that's the type of player that you are moving Nadeau for.
You're not moving out Nadeau for Vincent Trocheck. I don't know how many different ways from Sunday I can stress that. You are not moving Bradley Nadeau for Vincent Trocheck.
In fact, I would be upset. Like,
buddy, there might be a
physically upset.
There would be a couple of sly shots in anything I post from the prospect account that day if that would happen. You have no idea. Dude.
There would be legitimate anger in
First off,
me.
I don't want Trocheck on this team, period.
Yeah, I'm in team clear. No Trocheck as well.
So is Corey Lavalette. I read his thing about trade targets, and he was also like, no, I don't think Trocheck would be a good fit. And I'm like, yeah, dude, we're seeing the
Hurricanes
light.
didn't want to sign him in the first place.
We're seeing the light now. He's not. He's on a loser team. I don't want players from the loser team. Unless it's a clear rebuilding team. The Rangers were supposed to be good.
That's the other reason why I'm like, do we want Pettersson?
Okay, Pettersson's different because he's young.
Sure, but like, we're talking about loser teams.
I understand the Vancouver Canucks are a loser team. Sorry to
they're like, arguably the loser team.
There might be like one person who I know is a Canucks, enjoys the Canucks that might listen to this from time to time. Hey man, sorry. I'm still taking Pettersson 9 times out of 10 because that's a center that fits long term. But I do understand the loser team scenario. No team should ever sign Brock Besser and Jake DeBrusk to contracts long term when you know your team is not going to be good. And then you're forced to trade away a top 3 defenseman in the NHL right now. Yeah.
That was a tough one, because like I was really shocked at the fact that like Brock Besser got the contract that he did.
We were at
We were
death
at Death
camp
Camp, and we were
whenever
both
that
looking at each other
happened.
like, "What in the world is going
We're
on
like,
here?"
wait, Besser's seriously re-signing with? They have like 3 different Brock Besters on that roster already. Why do you need another one long term? That was also the day I got vindicated for Amir Miftakov, so I was already in a good mood that day. Let me tell you that. Hey, that was the
Oh,
first.
right when we signed him, I was like,
Yeah, dude, I got vindicated
"Yeah,
for that one. I because
yeah." That one was it was a slow burn, but it finally got
dude,
the
I
payoff
had
there.
that 2 months before it happened, and then nothing came of it, and I was like, oh. And then it happened, and I was like, yes, thank God, I'm vindicated. I didn't report misinformation. I would never do such a thing in the
You
first place.
purposely spread misinformation
It
online.
only happened one time, and it was Stanislav Yarovoy signing a ZLC. Okay, that was the only time it ever happened, and I only reported it because a thing from Russia did it, and I was like, "Hey, they're saying it could happen." So technically, it wasn't even me in the first place.
Anyways,
Whatever. I mean, I think that kind of covers the trade deadline
I
for the
mean, like
most part.
we could talk about like the assets that Carolina has. Like in addition,
The Dallas firsts.
yeah, they have Dallas's first.
Yeah, buddy. That's that's also another thing. If you think like they could use that first before next Friday, don't get
Yeah,
me wrong. That first is becoming a second, a third, and another second or a third at the NHL draft in 3 months,
yeah.
4 months.
Well, they have 4 picks in this current draft, so I could see the Hurricanes holding on to all of their 2026 picks.
Yeah, I think if they do anything, it'd be like
They
next year,
own
28.
Dallas's third in 2027. That pick is gone by the deadline.
Deadline or at this year's draft. I think you're 100% correct.
Yeah, and then I could see the 28 first being held on to till the off season
Yeah, and then
potentially.
you go like, hey, we got 2 first round picks. Might want to throw something out. Is 28 the DuPont year or is that Schultz? I think 27 is DuPont. Because I know the big story at the beginning of this year was
DuPont's
teams
in
going like, hey,
09, but
man, I
DuPont
don't.
is 2027.
Okay. Because I remember teams before, like at the start of this year, people were like, yeah, probably not going to see a lot of first round picks get traded because these middle teams don't really know where they're going to be yet. And we have to wait for
Yeah,
Gavin McKenna. I think that there is a slight chance that situation happens again with DuPont because he was getting generational hype. And I think dude, they were talking about Team Canada 2030. Dude, I know, but we're talking about people were getting genuinely mad at a JFresh post where it was a people poll. They polled regular people, and they're like, "Where's Landon DuPont on Team Canada 2030?" You know, everybody's like, "We're 4 years away, and the kid is what 16, 17 years old."
he will turn 17 in May.
So it's like, why?
Yes.
Why are we trying to predict that? It's like,
Everybody wants to be the first person to discover a prospect.
it's Landon. I heard about Landon DuPont 3 years ago. I think most people heard about Landon
3 years
DuPont
ago, would
two
have
or 3
been
years ago.
because when he was
I
he
think
was
most,
drafted
yeah,
exceptional status 2 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago, everybody heard about Landon DuPont. It was like, wow. And then everybody heard about Maddox Schultz, and you're like, wow. So it's
Because
like,
Maddox Schultz was he last year's first round pick or first overall pick?
No, Maddox Schultz hasn't been drafted yet. He's not. I think he's
No,
15.
but like in the dub.
Yeah, he was drafted to Regina. Uh,
Um,
Connor Bedard's replacement.
yeah, I remember.
And then the year after, actually, I don't know. I don't know about 29 or 28 because I could be wrong about Schultz's year. And then Alexis
I
Joseph.
don't care about that.
I like the top of the class is always the one that comes to me
Yeah.
quickly, but everything else is very slow. But
To
yeah,
set the expectations for the trade deadline,
you're
what
getting a
is
bottom.
likely going to happen for the Hurricanes is we are getting a defenseman to improve upon the Mike Riley role.
Okay.
And we may get something with the forward core. Maybe a goalie. Goalie trades are always really hard in the middle of the season. I feel like it doesn't really happen. Also, a lot of the teams like that are like low in the standings, their goalies suck. Like, there's a reason they're low in the standings.
Yeah, the only thing I could see would be like Buffalo because they have UPL, Colton Ellis, and Alex Lyon that are on their NHL
But if
roster
you're
right now.
Buffalo, do you want to help a team that right now you are projected to play in the first round?
Yeah, I know. I completely understand. My bold prediction: you're getting a bottom six forward, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah,
Unless
you're getting almost assuredly a defenseman of some sort.
unless you can physically take Elias Pettersson out of Vancouver, you're getting a bottom six forward, and you're going to like it. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, Jesperi Kotkaniemi could get moved. Wouldn't that be cool? You're getting a bottom six forward, and you're going to like it. I also don't think they touch defense because Mike Riley is serviceable. At least he can at least play a minute or two.
Yeah.
If
No
anything,
more than that, though.
If anything, you got two right-handed defensemen that have played NHL games this year, kind of just chilling in the minors. I mean, Dom Fensore is there too.
I think defense is the most improvable area, like without making a huge move, just because like I think you can improve upon Chatfield and Riley. But like in order to improve the forward core, you need to make a big splash. And I don't know how feasible that is at the deadline.
You just find somebody better than Mark Jankowski.
Mark Jankowski has a role, though.
I'm
Like
not denying that he has
as a
role,
fourth
but
line forward or 13th forward, I think that he's a fine player.
I don't like how much regular NHL talk we've done this episode. We are a prospect podcast, Matt. This is disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Why are we
You
mentioning?
wanted it to be the deadline episode.
I know, but I meant just prospect-wise. Why am I talking about Mark Jankowski and Mike Riley? Nothing.
I got nothing. I mean, that sounds like a question. Maybe you need to have some introspection here.
Dude, that's insane. I'm getting to all right, man. Yeah, that's the deadline. I mean, we only spent 20 minutes on that. I thought it would be longer, but it's all right.
Yeah, it wasn't that
All right.
bad.
Other notables where I didn't want to do like whole segments on them, but we're probably going to end up doing partial segments on them. But there's a couple guys here. Let's start out with the QMJHL's point per game leader, buddy. The Demon. Hey, it counts. They all count. And, 21 points in 11 games. We got a near 2 point per game pace player. Now, granted, Charlottetown is a very decent team, sans Ivan. At that same point, 21 points in 11 games, and some of the things I'm watching him do in that league are downright hilarious. That's also hilarious good. It's also hilarious bad. It's just like anytime. I really hope Charlottetown get a free game sometime in the near future so I can promote the ever-loving hell out of it and be like, yo, this is Ivan Ryabkin. Please
Just watch Ivan
this.
Ryabkin dunk on some kids.
I need everybody to go watch Ivan Ryabkin play hockey in a junior league. It is one of the most entertaining things you will watch in your life. I promise you.
It is beyond silliness.
Like, one moment we're going 4-point games, all primaries as well, and he's doing really good. The next minute they're getting beat 7-1, 5-1, 6-1. He scores a goal in the power play, and he tomahawk chops his stick directly into the ice. Doesn't even break, by the way. Insane. And then he gets a misconduct because of it. It's kind of beast. Like,
he is definitely an entertaining player. I think this was always going to be really good for his confidence. I have no idea how good it is for his development overall, but who cares, man? It's fun.
Hey, man, I'm not going to complain about a dude who had really bright moments in the AHL, but also really was sometimes struggling offensively, going into a junior league and just saying, "Hey, man, if I would have played a full season here, I would have been your leading point getter."
Yeah. Well, and
Like,
I
that's
also
been a
think like
beast.
it's we talked with Spiros about it. Like they missed his identity for the first few games, and I think that shows a lot about the player that he could be.
He was 18 years old, and the head coach of the team is going, "Yeah, we missed his identity." Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
have
huge.
My Chicago Wolves hat on. That's insane. That's awesome. Maybe it was just because he was physical and he would go after enforcers as an 18-year-old.
Hey, you know what? Game is game.
The enthusiasm is great. I can't take that away. And again, I promise you, if Charlottetown get a free game from now until the end of the season, I will promote it every day until it happens.
I will
I
be there no matter what.
I will be live tweeting that sucker because it is going to be an occasion. It's going to be something where everybody should sit down and watch it. Because again, if we're having a discussion about entertaining Kane's prospects, Ivan is probably one or two. Kurbin Limitov, who we're going to talk about next, is one or two. Ivan's for a different reason.
Ivan is very much like watching him play, and not stylistically, but like it's almost like sometimes watching a car accident where you just cannot look away.
But here's the thing: a lot of the times that car is him. And
Yes.
he's going to cause the accident because he's going to barrel somebody over. I had it posted. He scored a goal. It was a good goal. On the next shift, he just runs a guy.
Yeah, I remember you tweeted that, and I was like, that's the funniest thing I think I've ever seen.
Then you're not getting that anywhere else. The next shift, he's on the bump up shift after scoring, and he kills a guy.
Yeah, so what's funny to me, the player that I was thinking of, where I literally, it's just like, what in the world are we doing here? Pavel Menchikov.
Hmm. Okay.
What junior team was he playing for? Barry
Saginaw, if I'm not mistaken.
Saginaw. Yes, you're right. So I remember watching a Pavel Menchikov game
Why?
because I was doing scouting work that year.
Oh, I thought that
This
was Suzuki on that same team.
no,
Oh, I thought that was about that time.
no, this was post
Oh no,
COVID.
look,
This
I'm
was
still gonna
post
look.
COVID. So, um, I believe this was the 21 or 22 draft.
Okay.
But anyways, Saginaw is getting the puck out of a defensive zone shift, and Pavel Minchikov is just getting back into the zone after about 10 seconds of solid defensive zone time,
Nice.
where he would just go on little adventures. And so watching him play, for me, I was always just like, it was like, you can't look away because it's so different and so unique. And Rabkin, the way he plays, just the absolute aura that this man plays with, is just very unlike a lot of what we've seen before in a prospect,
Yeah,
especially a Canes one.
it's insane. Like I can't remember the last Canes prospect that did anything like this.
It doesn't happen very often. It's just not a guy that the Canes really value
Yeah.
typically.
Also, can we talk about the vibe shift that we've had since his draft? Like with us, I remember when he got drafted, we both just kind of looked into the camera like, okay,
I wasn't. I was convinced that I mean, it was a very Canes pick.
but we were convinced it wasn't going to happen.
I just didn't. I just didn't think he would have been the Canes' cup of tea.
No. And the vibe has shifted to where we're like, dude, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, I love Ivan. I think I've made that clear. I love the kid. So much cool. Just I think he can go back to the AHL next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
He was
interested to
drafted
see.
out of the USHL. He wasn't drafted CHL. It doesn't matter.
It's one of those things where I want to make sure because
Yeah,
I know. So I don't know. I would prefer him to go to the AHL next year and have a full year there,
me too.
but because like I think this is great for his confidence, but I would personally rather see him in the AHL. Next up, Kerbin. Let me tell you, who entirely different reason why I love watching this guy's tape. Ivan is like one of those things where it's like I like to watch like a hamster run around in the enclosure. Like you gave a hamster some sort of amphetamine and you just let him
Oh,
go. What?
so like an already like wired animal. I see.
A wired animal, you give him more, and he's just like this, just
Yeah,
constantly. Kerbin is for a different reason because, like, you watch him skate for like 2 minutes, and you're like, oh my god, I'm in love. There's like, dude, what? Like, anytime Kerbin Limitov gets a point, a goal, assist, whatever it is, I'll just watch him and be like, damn, that's
yeah.
insane. His skating is just so unbelievably good. Like the goal I posted, the goal he had what 2 games ago, a game ago, 2 days ago, where he forced a turnover in his own zone, and
Mm-hmm.
by the time he was out in the offensive zone for the other team, he had a full body position ahead of the next closest guy.
Who was his teammate?
And Kerbin Limitov is 6'4", 200 pounds, and he's out skating everybody on the ice.
Yeah,
It,
his
dude,
teammate was the player, the next closest player to him. Let's just keep that in mind.
I can't like say enough good things about
Yeah.
Kerbin Limitov, man.
He's
He's
a great
such a oh
skater.
my god.
The build is super interesting. I think the defense is fine-ish. It needs work.
It's
O-
serviceable for now.
Offensively, there's a lot to like. I think the what he can do, how he has like part of what makes like Seth Jarvis good, for example, different position, but like part of what makes Seth Jarvis good is his ability to play off of contact. Kerbin has a lot of those similar traits where he can just skate, like he can take the hit and then but still use it to create offense. And while I love that, I cannot hype him up too much until I see him against players that are not 20 years old or younger.
Yeah, it's kind of tough right now just because Dynamo Moscow, and we'll talk about KHL Dynamo Moscow in a second because of another Canes prospect, but it is a little tough to because he's only gotten I think one. He only suited up for one game and immediately didn't play any time, didn't get any sort of ice time whatsoever, and has been MHL this whole year. But again, there is just I can't. Hey, if you're not gonna hype him up, I will, man.
Well, it's
I
I
love
just I want to make sure before I hype him up too much that we see him play against good
I think that'll come next
competition.
year. I think next year you're going to see either a full VHL season or a sprinkle of KHL time with a lot coming in the MHL still, but I think you'll see a step up in competition next year for Kerbin for sure.
I
Kerbin,
sure hope so.
Kerbin's teammate, Timur Cole. My God. That's a guy who shouldn't be playing against sub 20-year-olds, and Dynamo Moscow finally got him up for a little bit. Has played a few KHL games up until this point. 20 seconds in one, but I think 2 minutes in another, and then 9 minutes in his most recent game. Um, Timur Cole's interesting. You want to talk about an expiring contract? Timur Cole. That was at the same time. Yeah, Brian Windhorst
Things
will
are
be proud.
happening.
Brian Windhorst will be happy. I'm not saying anything, but it is
No,
interesting his
I
contract
think
that's expiring.
with I think that there is a very good chance Timur Cole is in North America next year because of the fact that like the defensive game is so good right now. Like he just plays a really solid shutdown game. I don't see a team. I don't see the Hurricanes not trying it out here.
My hands are up. before anybody. The audio listeners, my hands are up. They're off to the side. I'm not saying that. That is all a Matt Soma fueled opinion. Let's make that abundantly clear. That was Matt Soma certified. Nick Bass had nothing
I'll
to do with
listen.
that
I'll
one.
wear that one if I'm wrong. I'll wear it if I'm wrong.
And it's kind of funny that you mentioned the shutdown game, but then you look at his point total and he had 27 and 30 MHL games this year.
Yeah, the offensive game has taken the steps that it needed to. The defensive game was always great.
Yeah, so again, interesting player there. And I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Timur Cole play in Chicago next year. I'm just not saying it's going to happen either way. I just think it's interesting that his contract expires. And there's a lot of guys with contract expiring. I think, but that's not really a conversation for now, but I had a conversation with someone about this recently. But there's a few guys that do have contract expiring, and I think you might see one or two. Moving on to Fyodor Avramov, Big Unk, as I would like to call him, because his nickname is Uncle, and I think it's the greatest nickname ever produced for a child, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and his name is Uncle. His nickname is Uncle. You can't beat that. He's been getting a lot more KHL time recently. He's been on the second line in at least the lineup graphics. Doesn't mean he's getting second line minutes, but he at least is up there. He was gonna get some decent ice time this past week, and then his game got abandoned. And I was like, because I was looking at my phone, I get a flash score notification that just says Sochi CSKA 0-0 abandoned, and I'm like, that's the first time I've ever seen that before. So I look into it and I read, and I'm like, oh, word, got you. Understandable. So apparently there were drone strikes in the relative vicinity of Sochi's arena and just Sochi as a whole. So they abandoned the game. I think it's getting replayed, but I didn't really read that. I just kind of read game was abandoned due to drone strikes in the area, and I went, okay. Word. Now, you want to talk about another guy whose contract is expiring? Fyodor Avramov. And the Canes looked at him this past summer. They brought him over for development camp. He was here. I watched it with my own two eyes. I watched him get hurt and then come back.
Can confirm he was here. He actually looked really good.
Dude, I talked about it a lot preseason, and I haven't really talked about him during the year because, if I scroll down to my elite prospects here, 1 goal in 26 KHL games, but 5 points in 5 VHL games and over a point per game in the MHL. He should never play in the MHL again, ever, because he's too good for the league. The VHL was like the perfect place for him. Mm-hmm. And Sochi just said, no, you're playing no KHL minutes. And it's just like, word, appreciate it. So,
I'm sure those were his exact words too.
Probably in Russian, but yeah, I think I had it transcribed from Russian to English, and that's kind of what it translated to. Translations can be rough.
Yeah.
I'm still in the process of like learning Russian, understanding conversational.
For sure, yeah.
But Canes brought him over for a look. His contract is expiring. And I mean, if we look at his usage over the past 2 years in the Sochi system, moving on to another guy who is also Brian Windhorst, 1-year contract, who I also thought was coming over last year. I didn't think he was going to go back. But this guy's had a really good run of form. We have a new career high in KHL points. And my God, is he looking better on a stacked team with players like Vitaly Kravtsov, Josh Lievo, Yegor Korshkov, man. We're talking about legends of the KHL.
Yeah, a couple Canes legends even.
I mean, dude, Yegor, I think in the 21 episodes that we have done, I've mentioned Yegor Korshkov in probably 5.
No less than 6 of them.
It's insane. I don't know how it keeps happening. Alexander Rykov looked much better recently. Offense is looking a lot better. The ice time is slowly coming up. He is getting opportunity when Josh Lievo went to the second line, looked good. Coach saw it. Only demoted him to the third line, but he's still getting a decent amount of ice time. and the points are finally starting to roll in. I think you mentioned 9 in his last 10. Is that correct? I know for the month of February he had 6. He has 6 points in 8 games currently. He's just looked. This is the best he's looked in the KHL. I think besides his rookie year, where he went on like a weird tear at the very start. But this is the best Alexander Rykov has looked. And again, Brian Windhorst, he was brought over last year, and his contract is expiring at the end of this KHL season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, mainly Rykov has looked a lot better. Like, this is a much more complete player now than from what I saw last year, and I did like him during dev camp, but again, this is a much more complete player.
And he's still not getting that much ice time. He's getting fourth line minutes, and he's producing. That's really impressive because I think with Rykov, what has the skill and the talent has always been there. He has just never been healthy.
Yeah.
And that's not his fault. I mean, some of it might be, but
Whoa. I understand, but still whoa.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like, it could be his conditioning was poor. I have no idea. I don't know what the injuries were. But like you have a player here who seems at least to be getting things figured out at the KHL level at the right time. And I believe he's only 21 still. 20.
I was
He
going to say,
doesn't
I want
turn
to say he's
21
20.
until July. So,
Yeah, he's insanely
he's still pretty
young.
young.
Because I want to say this is also his D+3.
Yeah, it feels that's why I was saying it feels like he's been in the league forever.
Actually,
3.
I thought it was his 4th.
23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26. This is his D3.
Was he in the No draft?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My semblance of time is all sorts of messed up, apparently.
Yeah, it's so he was a 4th round pick. Like, I don't expect those players to be ready in 2-3 years anyways. Like, the fact that he looks decent in the 3rd year is pretty solid. Like, I'll take it.
Yeah. Moving on, we're going to do the last happy player and then move on to two unfortunate developments. Stanislav Yarovoy. Somebody that we got to interview at Dev Camp, which was really fun. Thank God for translators, because even though before I even talk about his play, these Russian players lie because their English is good. They just don't want to speak it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
good English.
I wouldn't want to speak the native language of a country if it was my first time in it either.
But still, Yarovoy had good English. Come on. Like, we can have some of these guys be a little more, like, you can still lean on your translator, but, you can have a tiny amount of, like, if there's a mistranslation of something, just go and say it in Russian and then make sure there's nothing stupid. In any case, Yarovoy was VHL most of this year, still is VHL for the most part, but after only playing 3 KHL games to start the year, getting 18 points in 37 KHL games, including a really good stretch of form end of January, February, he has been brought back to the KHL roster. Played 10 minutes in Spartak Moscow's most recent game on Sunday, and good for him. That was a player I genuinely thought was going to be in Chicago this year, and it just didn't work out. And I would put up the Brian Windhorst fingers, but he signed for 2 years instead of 1, so he still has another year on a contract. Wouldn't expect anything there. I think Spartak Moscow is going to use him and Alexander Pashin much more next year. You heard that correctly. But also in the VHL, over his really good stretch, he was getting...
Alexander Pashin.
Over his really good stretch of games, he was getting 20. He got 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 22, 22. Like, he was getting good game time. And I think he was moving up into that top 6, top line role for Kimmich. And I think that's just good. So I'm happy for him to have a good stretch of form.
Yeah.
Nothing on Yarovoy at all?
No, I mean, I haven't watched his VHL tape this year, I'll be honest.
It's good. There's a lot of good. His offense is really fun. Yeah. I know he said with us that he was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying center. That hasn't happened this year. I don't expect it to happen. So I also can't really remember that very small, minute detail from that conversation.
Proud of you.
Yeah, I guess it was one of those memorable things. Next up, let's move on to the last two players we're going to talk about, and much more somber on these two because my God, we got some strugglers. Two torpedo boys who, unlike Timur Mukhanov,
whose games are torpedoing. Am I right?
I'm so tempted to end this right now. I can kick you.
Go out with a bang.
Unlike Timur Mukhanov, who has actually found some success with Torpedo since being loaned over, actually traded over there, not even loaned. He was full out traded. These two fine gentlemen just have not found any semblance of production. We'll start with Andrei Krutov, who I was honestly shocked to see him get moved in the first, loaned down in the first place, just because it kind of felt like this was a year where he was going to play in the VHL, and he did, but comparatively to last year where he was really good in the VHL, he was just not great. Wasn't great in the KHL. He played MHL games this year, and just a weird thing. And he's with Amer, getting coached by Alex Galchenyuk, playing with Alex Galchenyuk, and he is pointless in 12 games. I guess the good part about it is some of these game times are good. I'm seeing 14, 50, 12, 10, 12, 15. I'm seeing a lot of good, and then I'm seeing, 6, 8, 3. It's a mixed bag game time wise, and obviously no production sucks, but it just stinks. But then again, I think Krutov was kind of a luxury to be this really solid last year, and I'm not entirely shocked that he's kind of regressed, but it does really stink overall because the player was really fun to watch.
Yeah, with Krutov, he and Avramov are types of players that the Kings don't really have a lot of in the system, so I want him to succeed really badly because they're big power wingers. I believe they are 2 of 2 in the Kings system.
Yeah.
So I think this is just a road bump for him. He's 19, maybe fresh 20.
Well, you should have said that while I had his elite prospect page up because I just deleted
That's
it.
fine.
I
Have
also
we
got
talked about
jumps.
Beard?
No, we haven't. Talk about who? Talk about what?
The other guy. The other torpedo.
Okay. Krutov turns 19 in April. Or 20 in April, sorry. My bad.
I was going to say, okay, yeah. So
also,
he's young.
Krutov power forward. Hold on, I just caught that.
Isn't he 6 something, or is he still under?
He's 5'11". He is hands. He's really good hands.
Who am I thinking of other than Avramov? Or is that it?
Beats the hell.
Avramov might be the only one. Never mind.
Avramov is definitely the only one. I think you're geeked.
Krutov, there's a lot of Russian players in the system.
Oh, you're telling me, huh? Yeah, buddy.
Hold on. Let me pull his page up again.
Oh man. Well, I can tell.
I gotta dig because he has not been very good this year.
I also got jump scared because I looked at my phone and I'm going through the Telegram notifications I haven't read today, and I see Sochi and I read Fyodor and I went, oh god, but it's not Avramov. So
he was one of the last players drafted.
Yeah.
In 2024. I expect nothing from this player. So
last year was
statistically, I expect very little from him. And it's great that he did so well in the VHL. I do remember him now. It's coming back to me. He does have some hands. He's not a bad offensive player.
It's coming back.
But can he create against higher end talent? And he's not one of one in the Canes system. The Canes have a lot of under 6 feet forwards. I don't know why I thought he was 6'3".
It beats me. And yeah, now we get to go to
probably number 2 prospect in the system in a lot of people's eyes.
Oh yeah, this one's gonna hurt. I'm gonna pull up this thing on Telegram because I read it today and I was like, oh god. But yeah, guy that we both had really ranked high last year just based off the KHL production and struggled early this year. got moved, and it hasn't gotten better. If anything, it's gotten 10 times worse.
Or it stayed the same, which is
No. Nikita Artemonov is currently, if I'm not mistaken, and I read it correctly, on a 21 game pointless streak. As
yes. I read
well,
Dylan Griffin's tweet.
okay. Hey, you didn't badmouth him this time. Good job. And then I read today from Arthur Kyrulin, one of the better KHL insiders. Nikita Artemonov loses his place in the Neftakimik team, and just yeah. It says also the 19. Oh, they put in a different 19-year-old. But yeah, he lost his place in the team, which is really bad. I don't think it's understated how bad it is when insiders are coming out and saying, "Yeah, this guy lost his place in the team." That is, it's
The
not good.
team you were loaned to.
His hometown team as well. Neftakimik is his hometown. He played in the Nizhny Kamsk system. That Jesus, his whole youth career for the most part. So this is like, I mean, I think it's very safe to say this is like ringing a bell. A flashing red light is going off. Just like the loudest alarm you could imagine is going off right now, and it sucks.
It's so hard, man. And like, I think I feel bad for him. I really do. Like, you go from being one of the better players on the best scorer on your team and one of the better players in the KHL, certainly one of the better U20 players in the KHL,
Top 5 U20 KHL season of all time.
to a very bad year. And it's, man, I really wish he didn't sign that extension with Torpedo. I actually wouldn't be shocked if his contract gets terminated somehow. Just this, and this is just me just saying that, just because
Matt Soma certified.
I don't know where you go from here for him. I don't, like, with Torpedo, because like they loaned you out to try and give you a better opportunity, and nothing came of it. Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
So I hope for him, the Canes can find him a better situation, whether it's in their system somewhere or with a different European team, with a KHL, VHL team, whatever. Because there's something there. He's a good skater. He's really smart. He knows part of what made him so successful in the KHL is he was in the right place at the right time every time. And he has enough skill to finish the chances that he got or to at least make okay passes. He does not have the creativity or the puck skills to be a top 6 forward, though. And you cannot change my mind there until I see it, because he is a very straight line, boring hockey player.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. I just wanted to mention it's very illegal for the Canes to interfere in that in any sort of way.
But if his contract gets terminated, then they can be like,
yeah, they can.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if his contract gets terminated, then the Canes can be like, hey, let's find you. Like, hell, the NCAA is bringing back G League players. Like, let's put you in the NCAA, Nikita.
Nikita Artemonov playing in, like, dude, that would be the greatest thing I think I've ever watched in my life. Don't you dare put up Brian Windhorst fingers for that. That's no. I'm not stamping that
I'm
at
kidding,
all.
but like, he needs to go to a place that, like, where he can rebuild his confidence, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
I do think a change of scenery is needed. I'm not going to go as far as to say Torpedo might terminate his contract. I think it's bad, but I don't think Torpedo is going to do that. I think they invested in him, and I don't think that's going to change. At that same point, it's going to be real hard for Torpedo management to look at the player and look at the loan spell and be like, well, this was successful. It's
Let's
physically
play this guy
impossible.
more.
So I think he enters like the summer situation of this is one of the more interesting things to watch, alongside a number of different guys in. I will just do Russia currently because I have the list on hand. So he'll join guys like Cole, Avramov. I don't even. I guess Mukhanov, Pelovin, Paravelov, Rykov, and technically Suryatsky, but I think confidently Suryatsky no. But there are guys on that list, and I think Artumanov's going to join that list of something that you probably need to look at. Just keep an eye out for, ear to the street sort of thing, because this is also something where Artumonov was getting talk early in the year about he's not even starting with the KHL team, he's starting with the VHL team. There are rumors about why that was. Nothing official came out, but his year already got off to a bad start, and it just hasn't really improved at all. So we'll throw that in the conversation for the summer, because it's probably when you'll figure more things out. But then again, the KHL season's getting kind of close to wrapping up. They're in their, I think they're in their final 10 games.
Yeah, they're pretty close. I know they extended when the season would be, but
yeah. Oh, thanks, Google. That's why I don't know how many games are left. I kind of wish I looked at that before I did all this stuff. But if we're looking at players that are going to play in the playoffs, Severstal will have Vladimir Grudinin. Torpedo will have Timur Mukhanov, which is kind of cool that even he gets moved and he'll still probably end up playing. Also, probably, they are, because they are confirmed in the playoffs. I can see they're in bold, which means they are playoff locked. There is a chance, though, we could see Torpedo versus Severstal round 1. That would be kind of fun. Dynamo Moscow, Timur Cole, maybe. Spartak, Stanislav Yarovoy, maybe. On the other side, Alexander Suryatsky with Metallurg, I would say definite yes. Nefta Kimmich is in the hunt, so he could play playoff games. Nikita Romanov, Tractor, yes. I think they're too talented to not make the playoffs, even though they are there. Yeah, they're at 7th in their division. And then teams that are already out. Sochi, so Fyodor Avramov's situation might get sped up a little bit more, because I don't think they have a singular other team besides maybe their MHL roster in the playoffs. And even then, Capitan Supino has been kind of bad for the last 2-3 years. So, and then on the other side, Aimer is technically still in the playoff hunt, but they're 7 points back. So it would take a minor miracle. So I think Andrei Krutov will also not be seeing.
That's probably the closest that Aimer has been in years.
Yeah. So the next time we record, which will be after the deadline, will probably be a lot more interesting, because we'll probably have a lot more things to talk about. And you never know, maybe we learn some cool things about stuff. But, this already went longer than I thought. Talked about a lot more than I thought, and also dropped some information and did a lot of the good conversation. So I think that's over, unless you have anything or anybody else you would like to talk about.
No, thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. Nick, I will let you close it out because I lost.
Dude, I was so
fine,
excited.
I'll do it. All right, folks, thank you for listening. We appreciate it so much. This has been another thrilling and always on topic episode of Developing Hurricanes, and we will see you next time.